Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignertechtips.com. Well, we've got a little icon on the side of our page here. It's fixed position, so as you can see when I scroll up and down the page it stays where it is. When we hover over it, it's going to have a little section pop out. And this is great for notifications or call to actions if you want to put a button in there. And of course you can link this to anywhere. When you roll off of it, it's going to pop back to the side. Really easy to do. There's no coding involved for this today. We're just using the inbuilt features of the Divi theme itself. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is enable my visual builder. Once enabled, let's go down to where we want to work. And let's delete our little module there. And because we're using fixed positioning for this today, we can put this anywhere we want it. I've got the empty row that it was sitting in, so I'm going to use that, or you could put it under any of these modules here. It doesn't really matter because it's not going to show up. So I'm going to pop it in here. We're using a little Blurb module for this today, just because it's got its nice little icon, but it'll work with any module you want to use here. Obviously put in your title here, whatever you want your content to say right there. Image and icon wise, well, I'm going to use an icon for mine today, so I'm going to flip the use icon to on and pop in a little icon. As you can see, there it is right there. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm going to go to my design tab, image and icon, just going to make that blue. Text down below, I want to pop that in the middle. It's fine the color that it is. I want to make that title text a little bit bigger though. And let's make it uppercase, bold. We'll give it a little more line height separation wise. Great, so we've got that. That's fine. Okay, well, let's do a bit of sizing and positioning here. What I'm going to do is go over to my advanced tab, down to positioning, and I'm going to flip it from default to fixed, and it'll disappear, or it'll look like it disappears. It's actually up under here. Fixed position, we've got a nice little grid underneath, and we can put it where we want. As you can see, it's on the left top there, middle. I'm going to put mine middle left. You can put it right in the middle if you want to. And as it's behind those two little things, as you can see there, we can put it on top by changing the Z index. We might need to do that in a moment. Just slide that up to a decent number. Still behind, we can change that in a minute. We'll pull that one down, make sure it's going to slide on top. Okay, well, I want to give this a background. So in the content, I'm going to give it a background. Just going to make it white. That's fine. I'm not going to give it any padding just yet because I'm going to give it a fixed height and width. So when we're not hovering over it, I just want it to be on the left hand side over here and just having the icon showing. So let's go to our advanced, and I'm going to actually position it on the left for this. We'll keep it over that side. Great. Now we can go to our design and sizing. So width, the content of it, when I'm not hovering over it, wants to be about the size of that icon there, and so does the height. So let's do this. Take this down. Be about 100 pics, something like that. 2%. I'm going to do it in pixels, so I'm going to leave it at 100. Just put in the 100, it'll put the pixels in for you. And I want the height to be exactly the same. So I'm going to drop that down to height, but remember we want it just on the non-hover, so I'm going to put it in here. Great. Then when we hover over it, width-wise, I want it to be 100% all the way across the screen, whatever screen size they're doing. There we go. And about 60% high. So here's the height. I'm going to put 60% in there. Okay, I can see where that is right there. I just want to pop it down with a bit of padding. And we can take a bit of opacity away from that background also. So while we're in the design tab, let's close up the sizing. We'll go into spacing. Let's give it 100 pixels padding just at the top. That's great. Now I'm going to give it a bit of a box shadow all round. Let's use this one. There we go, it just defines it a bit more. Let's have a look at some of the other ones. That's absolutely fine. And also I'm going to take a bit of the opacity down on that background so you can see some of the site through it. So go to content, back to our background, it's just a plain white. Just going to take a little bit of opacity down so we can see some of the site through it, but yet still read that notification. That's great. So let's get our hover and regular up, and desktop, we're now just going to see that. And hover, we're going to see this, but I really don't want to see anything here. So to stop seeing that, we need to, because we've given it a fixed height, we can turn the overflow off by going to advanced, visibility, horizontal and vertical overflow. I'm going to change both of those to hidden. I can't see my icon there because I think the padding is being applied to it. So if we go back to our design and spacing, yeah, we just want that padding on the hover version. So regular desktop version, nothing. Hover version, there we go, it came back there, 100. There we go. Well, I don't want to see that box shadow or background when we're not hovering over it. So let's get rid of that and we'll do our timing and we should be good to go. Here's our box shadow. There's no arrow there when we hover over, but we can do it with the color. So if we go to the shadow color right here, hover over the arrow. Desktop, I want it to be transparent so we don't see it at all. When we hover over it, let's give it a color. Not quite as deep as that. Just click on the color and bring the opacity down, or change the color itself if you want to. Yeah, something like that's fine. Okay, fantastic. And I just want to go to the background. We've got that white background in there. I don't want any background in there. On regular, on the hover, let's put the background back in, but we want a bit of opacity, something like that, just a hint of the site behind. Great. And finally, timing wise, the time it takes to get from here to here by Divi is 300 milliseconds, which is pretty quick. I'm going to slow it down for a bit of drama. So to do that, I'm going to go to the advanced tab, down to transitions. There's the default 300. I'm going to take mine up to about 3/4 of a second, something like that. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon as they hover over that icon. And the speed curve I'm going to use is ease in and ease out. I like that one for this. The only other thing we could have done, we could have made that icon a bit smaller in design, image and icon. Just use the icon font size to change the size of it. That's a little bit big, but we'll stick with that at the moment. So this all should work for us now. Let's save Blurb module, save the page changes, and let's exit the Visual Builder. We'll roll on down. There's our little icon over there in the blue. When I hover over it, it's going to pop out into that notification. And there's that little problem that we had before. If I roll down a bit more, you'll see it's on top, and you want it on top of everything. If you find it's not on top of something, we can change the Z index. So let's enable the Visual Builder, and we'll take this row, because this is in a row, we'll take the Z index down on that. So let's go into our little row here. Or green tab for the row. We can do both columns at once with this. Advanced, position. Here's our Z index. I know it's set to 0. Let's set it to 1. And now what we'll do, we'll go into here, make sure we've got this set to a high number, advanced. I'm pretty sure I did do this position. Yeah, it's got a fairly high number there. So with Z indexes and whatever's got the higher number will be on top of something with a lower number. So we've given this a z-index of 1, so 446 should be on top of it easily. So let's try this again once we've saved. Let's roll on down, we'll try that again. There we go, we've got it back on top of those little sections there. Like I say, if you have a problem with it not being on top of something, go in and just make sure that that something has a lower z-index. And even if it says 0, put a 1 in there, because that little section of the 2 here said it was 0, but it didn't work until I put a 1 in there. So there you go, guys. There is icon to slide out section on hover. Fixed position so it stays there when you roll up and down the page. That's a nice little feature to have on your site. And like I say, no coding or extra plugins involved in this today. So I hope you've enjoyed this and found it useful today. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.